Hi, so we're talking about Venus in the 8th house, and this is an interesting placement that can play out in a variety of ways, very much depending on, of course, what sign rules this house and how Venus is aspected. But Venus, the house of how we give and receive, the planet of how we give and receive love, our values, it's related to our abundance, in the house of shared wealth, shared resources, intimacy, sex, death, taboo, the occult, taxes. It can be quite intense. So it can kind of go either way, like I said, depending on how it's aspected and what sign it's in. Venus, if it's well aspected, can here make these matters a bit lighter, and can, for instance, say your Venus is in Sagittarius in the 8th house and it's quite well aspected, then there can be, you might find that you're very lucky when it comes to gaining through other people's resources. You might have a big inheritance that comes to you, and in love you might find that you're very open to the process of transformation and growth, because the 8th house is traditionally ruled by Scorpio, and Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and that's the planet of transformation and psychological growth and esotericism. So it's very, very dependent on how this is aspected and what signs are here, because it can bring a lighter sense to intimacy and make give and take very easy and very enjoyable and bring a lot of gains, or it can make one-on-one relationships very intense. I mean, either way there's going to be an intensity regardless, but it can make one-on-one relationships quite crisis-laden, especially if poorly aspected. The 8th house is a succedent house, which means it comes after one of the angular houses, being the 7th. So in the 7th house we have our one-to-one partnerships, things like marriage, business partnerships, how we relate on a one-to-one level. The 8th house then takes us a little bit deeper. This is about the intimacy, this is about the things that can essentially make or break a relationship. So we get into the depths of the psyche, and here we find things like buried secrets, buried family secrets, psychological wounds and repressed things, any kind of blocks or areas of unconsciousness within ourselves we have to face here. So when one has Venus in the 8th house, quite often these things will be themes in their relationships. There can be power struggles, unconscious power struggles going on, because this is just the nature of because Venus attracts, this is the nature of what will be attracted to the individual in order for them to learn and grow. So the beauty of Venus being here is there is the opportunity for somebody to really transform and heal and grow as an individual through love, through one-to-one relationships, through the sharing of resources. There can be some interesting things that happen around shared finances and inheritances. It could be that, if very well aspected, that you gain a lot, but if poorly aspected, it could be that you have to know yourself. You are forced to look at yourself in a deeper way because of what you have to confront, to do with shared resources or to do with inheritances and maybe difficulties within the family and things like that. So it's a really interesting placement. The people with Venus in the 8th tend to have an intuitive and naturally psychic understanding of others' needs, values and wants, and they tend to be quite emotionally deep and very loyal, and they look for commitment in others, and they look for a depth in others and a certain intensity when it comes to love. Obviously, this is going to be flavoured by the sign. Venus in the 8th house is showing us where issues of values, love, even self-worth, and how we socialize will come out, and the sign will tell us how. So it flavors it in that sense. But these are people who can be very gifted counselors. They can be great psychologists because they have an understanding of of the depths of human emotion, and they have an understanding of pain to a certain extent, and crisis. And it can be very much that it's crisis and love that helps to transform them. And if there are any challenging aspects to their Venus that have held them back for a while, sometimes it will be a relationship that will bring all of their subconscious beliefs to the forefront and help them to transmute and go beyond whatever it is that's been holding them down. But these are people who can very much see beyond the facade and who don't usually enjoy superficiality. And you know, they, like I said, they can have they can be very gifted on a psychic level. I sometimes feel like this placement gets a bit of a bad rap. You know, people with this placement get accused of being jealous, and certainly maybe, you know, in your younger years and depending where you are in terms of your consciousness, that's a possibility. There can be jealousy, there can be really strong feelings of love and hate mixed into relationships, and possessiveness, or you can attract. The other thing is you can attract people who are very much like that until you start to learn your own worth, your own value, and you learn how to be in relation to others and have boundaries, because Venus here likes to very much blend with another. This is very much a blending, merging house. So until you start to learn your own worth, your own values, to respect those, to respect others, and to be able to share and be intimate in a way that is healthy for both you and other, then you might attract people who are very jealous and controlling, and that will just be part of your growth. And essentially it's there to help you to stand on your own 2 feet and to trust in your own ability. You know, and I would say be wary here of feeling that you need a partner in order to be, yes, you by all means you might attract wealth through partners, and you might do really well through partnership romantically, but be wary of relying on somebody for money, for giving your power away to that extent, because that's definitely something to look at, and it's worth looking at. Why don't I feel I can stand on my own 2 feet? Why am I giving my power away? That kind of thing. But you know, there's I think there's some really amazing, strong qualities about these people. They can be very steadfast, they can be very loyal, and they have an incredible gift to be able to see into the depths of people, to stick around, you know, even if somebody is going through a crisis or a really hard time, they're able to, because they have that, they understand pain, they understand trauma and things like that, they can be very empathic to others and a great support system to others who are going through it. I think the danger is not to let crisis and emotional upheaval overwhelm the relationship. So yeah, very deep placement in general. And like I said, this can be quite light depending on how it's aspected, but there will always be a sense of intensity here, and love will always play a crucial role in your psychological development. So yeah, it's a bit of I think it's quite it's a bit of spiritual and emotional mastery that is indicated here. Okay, so thank you for watching, guys. If you'd like to find out more about me, head to my website. I'll pop a link up now, and you can see I do readings there, and I do astrological art, and so yeah, by all means pop along. Until next time, bye bye.